Assalamualaikum everyone, I'm back with another exciting tutorial. Today, I'm thrilled to share with you some secret insights on creating jaw-dropping thumbnails using Photoshop. And throughout this video, I'll show you some tips and tricks that will improve your thumbnail game. Make sure to watch till the end. Let's create. I'll quickly add a artboard and then I'll drag and drop this background image. I'll provide all of the elements in the description so that you can also follow along with me. Okay, this is fine. Now go to filter and then camera raw filter. I'll adjust some light effects, basic corrections. Now go to filter and then add a motion blur effect. Go to blur and then I'll add a motion blur and then I'll adjust the blur. Okay, it's looking good. I'll add this image of our subject, so I'm going to place it right over here. Now go to filter and I'll adjust some basic light correction. Okay, as you can see, the image is already looking bright. It was previously dark. Now press Ctrl J to duplicate the new layer and now go to camera raw filter and then I'll slightly decrease the texture so that our image will look a little softer. So clip it to the layer below and then create a layer mask. Now what I'm going to do, I'll simply brush out the area that I want to be smoothened. So press B for the brush tool and I'll reduce the flow. And I'll gently brush all over the face. Take your time and do it slowly so that it will look good. Okay, now it is looking good. I'll group these two layers and name it main subject so that it will be organized. I'll select the layer and go to adjustment layer and add a curves adjustment layer. Now I'll select the layer and go to adjustment layer and I'll add a curves adjustment layer. So I'll name it bright. This part is important. We're going to do some dodge and burn effect. I'll simply create this dodge and burn effect with curves tool. Now increase the slider and I'll decrease it right from here. You'll see the dodge and burn effect. It will look great in our image. Okay, now I'll reduce the flow. I'll keep it really low. And now I'll simply brush gently. Don't do it too much as it will look very odd. I'll simply just do on the cheeks and the nose and to the foreheads. I'll do it over here also. Take your time and refine it and check if it looks good. Now here comes the dark effect, so I'll Simply do the reverse. I'll decrease the brightness this time. As you can see, it is looking very reddish, don't worry. Now simply I'll select the brush tool again and I'll draw the burn effect to the side edge of the face. As you can see, it is already looking very good. I'll do it all over the body. As you can see, it is already looking good. I'll decrease the opacity a little bit and I'll do it a little over it here and there. Okay, now I'll take another Gaussian adjustment layer. This time I'll adjust the brightness of the eyes so that the eyes will look bright and shiny. I'll invert the layer and then select the brush tool. I'll increase the hardness and I'll increase the flow also. As you can see, the eyes is looking very pop out. It's looking good. Okay, now I'll take a new layer and add a solid color. I'll add a solid color behind our main subject. Now we are going to add glowy effect in the background. Simply take the brush tool. I'll reduce the hardness, it's too much, and I'll decrease the flow. Okay, now it's looking much better. I'll do it very subtle and I'll take another white new layer and I'll simply just do the same thing. It will look overall good. As you can see, we have done our glow effect. Now I'll add solid color and I'll invert the layer. This time I'll draw above our main subject. I'll reduce the flow. Make sure to clip the layer so that it won't go outside to our main subject. I'll simply brush all over to the edges so that it will look like the light is leaking from the back. I'll do it on the face also, just to make the image more dramatic, and I'll add a glowing light effect to the eyes. Now I'll add this hand image. Simply place it right over here. I'm going to add a square. I'll keep it white. I'll simply adjust the layer. I'll take another new layer. This time I'll name it shadow. Now, simply draw a shadow. I'm going to filter blur and I'll add a Gaussian blurs. I'll decrease the opacity. Okay, now I'll create another. Now this time I'll do the same with the hands. I'll do a dodge and burn effect. Simply do it just like this. Invert it and I'll paint all over the hand. The dodge and burn effect is very good practice to use. If you do it correctly, the image will look good. So now we have done. As you can see the result. Now I'm going to add another new layer, and this time I'll name it hand shadow. Or you can name it whatever you want. Now simply I'll draw a shadow of our fingers. And decrease the opacity and add a blur effect. Okay. Simply I'll draw shadow. Okay, now I'll add this arrow. I'll bring it behind to our main subject. Okay, I'll leave it there. Now go to the layer style. I'll put some stroke. The opacity. Make sure to check out the settings. Okay, now I'll add this pinch image of YouTube. I'm going to place it wherever it is looks good. I'll play around with this. Okay, this is looking fine. I'll group all the images and I'm going to convert it to smart object. Then go to filter, blur, and I'll simply add a motion blur effect to make it more dramatic. As you can see, there's a motion to our PNG image. Okay, now I'm going to put a text. I'll simply type 5x more. 5x more. I'll leave it there. So I'm going to adjust our text. Maybe it will look good over here, and press Ctrl Shift. Simply make it just like this. Okay, this is nice. Now duplicate our text. "5x more views" just for the thumbnails. Decrease the size a little bit. I'll adjust our text properly. Now I'll double click this layer. Okay, let's see. I'll duplicate this layer and I'll put a different color. What I'm going to do is simply add a drop shadow, but the color will be yellow, so that the text will look a little bit different and pop out. I'll group all the text images and I'll double click, go to layer style, and I'll some bevels and emboss effect. Let's see which one will look good. I'll select the layer and copy the layer style, and I'll simply paste the layer style to this. Okay, so we are almost done. Now here comes an interesting part. What I'm going to do, I'll simply adjust the whole layers. I'll simply merge all the layers into one single layer. Press Ctrl Shift Alt E to merge all the layers. Go to Filter, Blur and Gaussian Blur. I'll increase the blur and press Ctrl L for the levels adjustment. Increase the contrast and brightness. Okay, now select this soft blending option. And I'll remove where it is not required. I'll remove it from the face also. As you can see, it's looking pretty good. So I hope you learned something new from this, and if so, then subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so that you won't miss any updates. And let me know in the comments your thoughts on this project. Till then, I'll see you in the next video.